That was
100%.
nice. Okay, hello. Hello, we are back. Oh my gosh, we missed last week.
This
We
last
were
week.
so busy. I was exhausted.
Hmm.
My exhausted my tired week just started on Friday, and so it's been one heck of a trip and you had pretty crazy. Anyway, my name's Linda. This is Lori, my lovely
Hi.
co-host. Hi, and you, if you've seen us before, oh my gosh, I look so tired. If you've seen us, we don't need to introduce ourselves. We're just too tired to do that. Anyway, what we're going to talk about tonight is intuition. Why do people fear their intuition, and why do they deny it? And what's the difference between fear and intuition?
Hmm.
But first, I want everybody, we're going to do a little exercise first.
Cool.
Actually, Lori, did I explain the exercise to you or?
You did. Explained it to me. But by
Okay.
the way, hi everybody. I'm Lori Paul. I'm a psychic medium. I do a whole bunch of other little things like I contact animal spirits, human spirits. I'm an expert in intuition. There's not a whole lot of stuff I'm an expert in. I'm an expert in tarot though. Oh yeah, I've been 40 years doing tarot. And that's about it. Did I get it in 30 seconds? I got so much
You
more to.
did.
Okay,
You
cool.
did. And you know what? Because I'm so exhausted,
That's
I
okay.
completely forgot to intro you. I'm
It's
sorry.
okay. It's just in
Lori.
case somebody doesn't know who I am. I mean, there's millions of people who don't know who
Yes.
I am, but
Yeah. Just a few million.
yeah, a few million.
I'm Linda. I don't know. What
I
don't I
do
do?
everything.
I do a ton of things.
I do
I
astrology. I do all that stuff.
I used to do a lot of tarot, but I just kind of I just don't resonate with tarot anymore. I love my graphic design. I love my web design. I love all photography. I love the Akashic records. I love
Mm.
meditation. I love all that stuff. Um, and anyway, do you want to explain the exercise that we're going to do?
No,
No? Okay.
no.
Okay.
But I wanted to explain about what intuition was, first of all.
Okay.
Because we're only going to do a short show. Usually our shows are
Yeah.
a little bit longer because I babble on. It's all me babbling. So that's why I'm speaking really, really, really fast. It's my ADHD. Anyway. Hmm. So intuition is that gut feeling. And I know that every single person on this planet has a gut and every single person has a gut feeling. So it's as simple as walking into a room and going, "Oh, that doesn't feel right." Basically, it's the
Yeah.
energy that's around you and what do you feel about that energy. So for example, you can say, well, I just saw this person and something about this doesn't feel right. I don't want to get in the car. I don't want to do this. It just doesn't feel right. We walk into a room and that doesn't feel right. That's your gut feeling. That's what we have to learn to trust. For so long in our lives, we're kind of taken away from our gut feelings, but it's pretty much happened to every single person on this planet at one point in time where they've had a feeling or they're just like something doesn't sit right. That's your gut feeling. There's been, so that's kind of the best way that I can explain it to somebody is that, it's just that little thing you get in your stomach. People say, I don't get anything in my stomach. I don't know. So maybe it's not your stomach. Your gut feeling might come in your shoulders. It's just that little thing that tells you something is off. Just that little thing that,
Yeah.
yeah. And, or I had this happen to me. You buy a lottery ticket. Now I've never won a huge amounts, but I have won hundreds of dollars, I won $200 on one time. And it's like I had a feeling about that ticket, or I had a feeling about something and I bought it and there it was, or I had a feeling about a number. That's intuition. So
Hmm.
just thought I would let you know that. So
Yes.
Linda's going to lead you through an exercise now about
Okay.
intuition and about,
Well,
and then we'll talk about fear as well.
yes. So, what I want you to do, get a piece of paper and a pencil, and we'll wait. Okay. Anyway,
You can pause this video.
pause this video. Um, or yeah, pause the video. Get a piece of paper and a pen or pencil, whatever is handy, and I want you to write the word yes, and I want you to write the word no. nice big letters. And at the beginning of our conversation here, I want you to think of a question. And then when we're done, when Lori and I are done, what I want you to do is I want you to go back to that piece of paper, and the first thing you're going to do is circle which one. Don't think about your question, just circle something. And that's the answer to your question.
So
That's
make
using
sure that it's a yes or no question.
a yes or no question. Yes. Like I don't know. I can't even think of an example at the moment, but
Hmm.
it has to be a yes or no question. Yes.
All
Absolutely.
right. Sure. So we'll just give them a second to maybe write out a question.
Hmm.
Hmm. Okay. I got one and I'm going to show it to everybody. So mine
Okay.
says, should I buy a new car? I don't know if anyone sees that.
No. Okay.
I don't know.
That was
Anyway, I
I
don't
didn't
need,
even
but I couldn't think of any. There we go.
there you go.
Buy a new car. Should take
Okay.
the filter off, but I don't like the background of my thing. So, did I buy a new car? Yes or no? Um, anything. I have a car that's relatively new, so I don't even know why I come up with that one.
Maybe because I need to buy a new car.
Should Linda buy a new car?
Should Linda buy a new car? Yes
You
or
already know
no?
what the answer is to
I
that.
know what the answer is. Because
From
I'm
me.
taught. Yes, I already I'm toying with maybe not buying it and putting the money towards fixing this one again, but I think I know my answer.
Hmm.
Um,
Um, hmm.
yes.
Oh,
So,
okay. I got one. So you keep going.
okay. Why is it that people fear their intuition?
Ooh, that's a good one. Um,
What?
why people would fear it is because, from what I believe, is they may fear their intuition because it's an unknown thing and it's trust. Fear and trust go hand in hand. So you're just like they don't trust themselves enough to trust their gut. So, or it's something negative for them. They're afraid of it. They're afraid of anything that's they can't see or that they're afraid of the unknown. So if they're following their gut, they're like, am I right? Like I'm fearing myself. I'm fearing that I will be right, or I'm fearing that I will be wrong. So I just kind of go with the flow, but going with the flow is actually gut reaction as well, too.
It
So
is, yeah.
so fearing
Yes.
it, it's like I am afraid to let go and let somebody else make the decision for me.
Yes. Let the universe make the decision. Yeah,
Hmm.
because the universe is they're the one that's
That's
poking you in
giving
the
you the
head
gut.
and saying, "Hey, you gotta this is
Mhm.
what I want you to think about." Um, or like you fear that you're right, fear that you're
Huh.
right, fear of getting hurt because you're right, fear of
Mhm.
getting hurt because you're wrong.
Mhm.
There's so many reasons why that you would
There's so
fear.
much fear. Like we all know what fear is. It's like being afraid or fear is just this uncontrollable thing that we have that we're either going to be right or wrong or in danger. So fight, flight, or fright.
Yes.
That's completely what fear is.
Yeah.
It's something that it's the unknown. So you don't know. A
Hmm.
lot of people have different fears like claustrophobia, like fear of tight spaces, fear of some anything, snakes, heights. Like there's a lot of fears. Those
Hmm.
things are, but what are you afraid of? I could tell you my fear, but then everybody might email you and then do that.
No. Right
Bleh.
now, my fear is, and I'm not trusting my intuition this time. This
Mhm.
time, I can feel something moving on my leg.
Mhm.
Is it a tick? No, it's not. It will not be a tick.
Uh-uh.
But that's my fear, and my intuition is saying, trust that. Trust that it's not.
Hmm. That's a double negative too. And we already talked about this in the law of attraction. Are you using a double negative?
I think I am.
And
Yes.
so your
Yes.
intuition is telling you that you are correct in assuming or correct in going through that the animal that you believe it is, or that the animal that you believe it may be is not the animal that you think it is, but you're right about that.
Yeah. So it's not a tick.
No.
Nope. It's just a normal itch.
So
Like
what
a
you say
normal,
is, I just have an itch.
yes, I just have an itch. Yeah. So and so when you listen to that, and so the fear, so my fear just kicked in thinking, what if it is? What if I'm right? I don't want to even think about it. What if I'm right? I don't want to be right.
You don't want to be right about it not being a tick?
I
Or do you want
being a
to?
tick. I'm
Oh,
thinking that it's a tick.
okay.
I'm thinking that it is. Um, but again, I don't want to be right, so I just want to push away my intuition.
So I could say I tick, therefore I am.
True. Yes.
Joking.
Joking.
I think, therefore I am. Anyway,
Yeah, no.
that's a philosophy thing. Anyway,
Philosophy.
so
I
we'll
know.
get. So what are we doing with this question?
So just once we're getting towards the end, like in about 20 minutes or so, just go back and the first one you go to, circle it. And
Okay.
that's your answer. Yeah.
Okay.
That's the answer to your
So,
intuitive question.
right. What if we don't have an answer to that? That's where your fear or your intuition comes in. So you wrote down a question
Hmm.
and it's a yes or no question. Um, should I go to the store? Yes or no? So your first instinct would be, I don't know, should I? What do I got to go to the store for? So the bet what you could be doing is asking a question that is a yes or no question, but something that's pertaining to something. And maybe it's a big, should I leave or should I go? Like, should I leave or should I stay?
Should I
I
stay or
think,
should I go now? There's a
should
song
I
about
stay?
that.
Should I stay? Or should I go? Or so instead of asking, should I leave or should I go? The
Yeah.
question should be, should I stay? But
Yeah.
when you say, should I stay, what are you staying in? So be specific with your question
Hmm.
as well. Like I
Yeah.
put, should I go to language class this weekend? Because I have something else that I can be doing as well. Three things that I have going on, but I asked the one question. So if I get whatever question it comes up with, answered. What is my intuition telling me? Because I can't decide.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, a lot of people rely on um, those tangible things, to make decisions. Let's draw a spreadsheet, let's draw. So there you got your tangible pros and
Yep.
cons and whatnot,
Yep.
but intuitively, what else? What else can we use our
Intuitively,
intuition for?
well, you can use your intuition for a number of things, like um, sugar in your coffee or not.
Yes.
Something that simple.
Or
Um,
if you have a jokester, should I drink this because I did leave the room?
so
Did they
what's my
pour sugar in
intuition
it?
telling
Yeah.
me? Should I? So sometimes we do things like we'll read a letter or somebody will tell us not to do something. So there's a difference there. So somebody will say, you know what, Lori, don't read that letter. So,
Yes.
what is your intuition telling you? Are they telling you truth or are they not? Because this is how I tell my truth detector. Not only that, I read auras, I do a whole bunch of energy work, but I'm like, okay, so they're telling me not to read the letter. Now, curiosity will usually get me. So I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to read the letter because they told me not to. So that means there's something exciting in it. Okay. So I'm like, hmm. So what I'll do is I'll step back and I'll say, okay, all right, gut, should I read this letter? Nothing. Okay. Should I read this letter? Or should I not read this letter? Okay. All right. So I'm going to read the letter. I had nothing. So I read the letter, even though this person told me not to. Right? If I said, if I and I tell my gut, what do I want to know? Yeah, if I'm supposed to read the letter, then there's a reaction. If I'm not supposed to read the letter, there's no reaction. So when I say, should I read the letter and there's no reaction, then I don't read it. Not meant for me. So as
Hmm.
complicated as that is, you still got to ask your gut the same thing. Should I or shouldn't I?
Yes.
Or what's going
Yes.
on here? Like I've had um times where I've been in situations getting on a bus, for example, or going, okay, I'm gonna get on this bus, and then it's like, no, it's all full. Like I get a feeling that there's something just not quite right. And all day I went
Yeah.
through the whole thing. There's something just not quite right. And then at the end of the day, you miss your bus is like, you get there, you get on the bus, and it's like, okay, it's not good. So what? So you get off the bus. That's what your intuition is telling you to get off that bus, or that
Yeah.
voice in your head, get off the bus. That's your intuition. It's like your
Yes.
conscience telling you. Follow that. And once you follow it, you don't know what your destiny is. Honestly, there's predictions we can tell. I mean, I can tell or
Hmm.
whatever. But you don't know if when your intuition tells you not to do something or to do something and you ignore that, then you notice how you end up in a very different situation. Okay.
Yes.
The time that I got off of that bus, because I just had that feeling, I stood there, I literally got on the bus and I was like, nope, I got to honor this. I got off of the bus. That bus got into a car accident 2 stops down the road. Half of those
Yes.
people that were on that bus were hurt.
Hmm.
So my intuition was telling me, no, there's something not quite right about this situation.
Okay, here's a question that I've always had about
Okay.
intuition.
Hmm.
And you brought up a great example. That's what triggered this question. Um, is that question
Hmm.
that or that statement, trust your gut, trust your intuition, is that coming from us or is it coming from the universe? Is it coming from the angels or is it coming from an exterior? Is it coming from us in a different timeline saying, hey, you know what? I experienced this once before. We didn't do it right, so we're going to do it proper this time.
Right.
Where is that voice coming from?
So I believe it's coming from the any of the other entities that you've just mentioned. It's basically, I'm going to tell you it comes from the universe, but the universe also exists with angels. It also is
Mhm.
like, um, your guides. It's also your experiences from the past life. All those things are coming into play. So that's why we're doing it. So I'm going to tell you this, there are no rules to that. So follow what you believe. To me, it doesn't matter where it's coming from somewhere, right? I
Yeah.
believe it comes from the universe. It's our universe telling us this is what you need to do. Like, and I'm going to give you that feeling of doing it. And they'll give you the same feeling over and over and over and over again until you listen to it.
Hmm.
Each time you might do the same thing 7 times in a row. And every time you do it, you get that and same thing. And
Hmm.
that one time, you're like, you don't follow your gut on it, and that gut's telling you not to do it. That eighth time, something happens, catastrophic
Yeah.
happens, right?
Yeah.
So then you're like, but I've done this every time and I've never changed anything, but eighth time it's changed. The universe will go, okay, well, let's try them again. So you try the same routine again. And then the next time, the ninth time, something catastrophic happens. The
Hmm.
10th time, something catastrophic happens. So then you're like, I don't want to do this anymore. The universe goes, okay, try it one more time. Then you go, what am I going to do? Should I do this the same way or should I not?
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then they make that decision.
Yes. It's
Just
like
one
the
second.
the the
Yeah, sorry. Just
it's
one second. Will you pause that? Do you have any?
I mean pause just 1 second here.
In the middle of my thought, I'm like, eh.
Oh, okay.
So,
Yeah, and so it's like that burner on the stove.
yep.
Somebody's saying, touch it, touch it, touch it. It won't hurt, touch it. And you're looking at it, well, you've got this coil here and it's bright red. I don't think I'm gonna touch that.
Mm.
Whereas in your next life, you're gonna say, all right, and touch it and burn the crap out of your hand.
Hmm.
So yeah, so I always wondered, was it an angel that's coming and saying, "Hey, you know what? This is what's happening," or your guide.
Yep. I think that's absolutely true. Like it's your angel, it's your guides, it's the universe. And I always
Mhm.
chalk that up to it's what you kind of believe in, right? I believe in angels, I believe in all of that. But I think this one's coming for me, I think it comes from the universe saying, you know what? You're rusty now. You got to get back on track with that.
Yeah.
Trusting your gut is probably one of the hardest things that you're ever going to do, especially
Ah, yes.
certain areas, right? Um, so something just came to my mind, and things just pop into my head. It's like aliens do that sometimes to me. I'm kidding, I'm joking. Um, it's the telephone. When you get a telephone call
Hmm.
and it comes up with that person's name, and you go, should I answer that or shouldn't I not answer that? Because you're like, okay. And so go, okay, what is my gut telling me? Is it really an emergency or is it not an emergency? So that's you trusting your gut. Now, sometimes circumstances take over from our gut.
Uh-huh.
That's a whole different thing. So I'm in the middle. This literally happened to me this weekend. I'm in the middle of a reading and my mom calls. My mother doesn't call me unless there's something wrong.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what do I do? And my gut is telling me to answer this call. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
I can't. I'm in the middle of a reading.
Yeah.
So I can't stop my client, can't stop the spirits that are coming through because like spirit on the other side is like, hey, are you forgetting about me here?
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
I'm here. I got these messages to give. So I'm like, oh my God. And my intuition's telling me I have to answer this because there is an emergency. And so I'm like, okay, but I don't. Instead, I let it go to voicemail. So
Yeah.
I'm like, so now I'm going, okay, my intuition told me I had to answer that, but circumstances is not allowing me to do that. So I finished up the reading and I unfortunately pushed the client out the door. What I mean, I didn't literally push her, but
Yeah.
just like getting them up towards the
Yeah.
door and making that. And then I call my voicemail and it says, we're rushing your stepfather into the hospital right now. So I'm like,
Ah, yes. Yeah.
right. And my son is staying with him for the weekend, so they had to take him to the so I'm like, okay, would that have made any difference in me dropping my reading and answering that call? The answer is no,
Yeah. No.
right? So yes, my intuition was telling me to answer it, but yes, it was an emergency. But if I would have left my reading or did what I had to do and like, completely close that off and oh my God, I'm 2 hours away, da 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 da, then it would have been a very different outcome,
Yeah.
right? So waiting for it, yeah, I was right. I should have picked it up. But would it have made any difference if I picked it up? It actually did make a huge difference. When I called her, the whole thing was they went to the hospital in a cab and they went to the emergency room and they're waiting. And that was it. It wasn't catastrophic.
Not
Wouldn't have made a
catastrophic.
difference.
Yeah.
So if I would have answered that, even though my gut told me to answer it, which they were correct, it was emergency,
Mm-hmm.
it would have been
But
like,
but there was nothing that you could do about it. So
right.
so trusting your gut, trusting your intuition, um,
And my
you have
intuition
to,
wasn't wrong,
no,
but it
you're
just
not
wasn't the
wrong.
right circumstances, right? So,
Yes.
and to wait a little bit. So that's what I want to talk about with intuition as well. It doesn't always have to be at that moment in time. So
Mm-hmm.
I had the right feeling about it. And I'm like, okay, so I'm trusting that that's a yes, but it'll be a yes in 15 minutes anyway. Now, had
Mm-hmm.
my mother called me back a second time, and I would have answered
Yeah.
the
Mm-hmm.
but the first time, and then it went to voicemail, there was no text, there was nothing. So I'm like, okay, it's not it isn't an emergency, but not an emergency enough for me to walk away or sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I think we can't put a time frame on things. So I'm sitting here saying, yep, I should have answered that. Yeah, I did. I did answer it. I just answered it later.
Yeah.
Didn't make
Yeah.
any difference in how things turned out. So
Yeah.
the fear issue as well, because in some cases, when you see somebody calling on the phone, so if you see the word mom on your phone or dad on your phone, or if I seen dad on my phone, I would freak out because my dad is passed. So that would really be freaky.
Yes.
But if I saw mom on my phone and so I let it, and I'm in a meeting or I'm in a reading or I'm doing something and I let it go to voicemail, how do I feel about that? So most of the time it tells me not to answer it, let it go to voicemail because it's not
Mm-hmm.
an emergency. But there's those odd times where it says, yes, do it and do it now, or do it within the
Yeah.
next 10 or 15 minutes. If you honor that intuition within the next 10 or 15 or even a half an hour, you're good. But if you
Yeah.
let it go, the universe will keep giving you these signs to do it again. So
Yes.
it may make that person call again. They call again, then it's time to listen to your intuition again and say, okay,
Mm.
let's do it.
Yeah.
Got it. I always say your gut is never wrong. Trust your gut. Your gut is never wrong. It gets clouded and
Yes.
we interpret it wrong or we
Mm-hmm.
interpret it differently, right?
Yes. Okay. So when we have like you read tarot and you read intuitively,
Yeah.
where do you get those messages from?
I
Spirit
I
or
get them from I don't call them spirit because I do the direct connection. I
okay.
go right to the source. I can't have a middleman because I have too many questions, right? I
Yeah.
have too many things happening. Um, I get them from the spirit themselves. I get them from the universe. I get them from my guides. That's why we have guides, right? Our guides
Mm-hmm.
will direct
Yeah.
us, give us those messages that we need. I get them from energy all around me, our ancestors. Like I get them from a different places. And doing it for as long as I've been doing it for, things sometimes just come so natural to me that
Mm-hmm.
I forget. And sometimes I forget to follow my gut about
Yeah.
things.
See, I was for me when whenever I was doing any readings, I always got the impression that the messages were coming from the person that I was reading for.
hmm And that could be it
That's
as well. Like if you get the death card, for example, I always say the death card is my favorite card in the entire freaking deck.
mm-hmm.
The entire deck. I love it because it's about not just change, it's about transformation. And
Yeah.
transforming the endings and the absolute new beginnings. And the differences are that you're transforming. So that means that you're leaving old ways of life behind. It's a
Yeah.
new, not just a new job, not just a new one new thing happening or a new promotion. It's a bunch of things changing together and helping you to transform. That's why I love the death card. Now,
Mm-hmm.
when I'm reading somebody else, when I'm reading people and I put that, say, next to the hermit card, for example. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, so that's about reflection. And you're looking at your life and you're like, how can I transform my life? But at the same time, it's how can I fall out of patterns? So
Yes.
even though that's about transformation, it's also about what's next to it as well and what's next to it for that person.
What's yes.
And then I would
Yes.
put, if I do another card, this is exactly the same three I had. I had today or yesterday. Three, I had the death card, hermit card, and I had the tower card, all three in a row. So the
Oh,
tower card, I interpret the tower card as enlightenment. So just as the chaos is happening and everybody is, jumping out of that tower and it's chaotic, it's in that moment
yeah.
in time you have enlightenment. That's you're given the wherewithal to go, I now see things as the way that they are meant to be.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be transformation. So how would you transform that? And then at the end, you have the reflection. So I would always say past, that would be your past, your present, and your future. Transformation can be your present or your future. Your hermit card about the reflection, that's about your past. You're looking at your past going,
Mm-hmm.
what can I change here? See how that reading just changed for one person to
Mm-hmm.
another. So you are
Yes.
reading the person as well, because if you get the same three cards in a row for the different person, they can mean something different. Like chaos is upon you. So chaos is coming, like, oh my gosh. but you're enlightened by your chaos. So you now see
Yes.
your way through it. So yeah, and I have them. The deck that I use now is different from the deck I used to use. I brought my old deck with me. I have a deck that was 1969, an original deck.
Hmm.
So they're over 50 something years old. I'm 56 years old, I think. Um, and I've been using them for 40 years, 30 some odd years, 38 years maybe.
Uh-huh.
So I brought those ones with me because it's an old Aquarian deck. And I switched about 8 years ago to an angel deck. It's called Angel Tarot, and it was what resonated with me. And
Hmm.
so now I can feel this new angel deck coming to a close again and wanting to be.
Hmm.
So, but in the Aquarian deck, those cards would always mean something different than what they
Uh-huh.
would mean for this deck here. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Now, uh, for those, so intuitively,
Right.
um, we can also tie this to these numbers that we're seeing.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're going against our intuition, our
Mm-hmm.
gut,
Uh-huh.
then somebody is going to flash some numbers at you as
Mm-hmm.
that little reminder, and then you go back and think, why did I see that number? Oh, and then I don't know that people are tying the two together.
So I have a story for that too. This
Okay.
weekend, there's a 50-50 draw. It was three numbers for $10. So I bought six numbers. And I went with my number two because that was still available. And I was like, I think I might do an 11. And this number 118 kept coming to my mind. Well, that happens to be 18 is my the birthday. Um, one, the 11 together, and then the eight is abundance. And 118 happens to be my address. I'm surrounded by like 818s,
Uh-huh.
118,
Oh my
18.
gosh, yes. I work in a
So I'm
store.
like,
Yes.
I was already at my six numbers, so I didn't choose it. Guess what number was chosen for $750?
Oh.
118.
118.
And so that was the number I had in my vision. That was
Uh-huh.
what I'm like, I'm going to do, but I'm going to pick these other numbers because that's what I did.
Yes.
And I would have won $750
Yes.
had I chosen 118 that I originally, but I didn't follow my gut and cross my name off of one number.
Yes.
Right.
I had a very similar experience. This was years and years and years ago. My daughter and I went and got some Chinese food, and the fortune cookie, the number on the back of the fortune cookie,
Hmm.
she said, "We need to go play those numbers. We need to go buy a lottery ticket." Well, she was what, 8 at the time? No. No, gosh, no. She was like 5. I think 4 or 5 years old. We have to play those. Yeah, anyway, I should have listened to her because the next week, all six of those numbers came up on the
See,
Lotto 649.
I'm telling you.
But she was 4 years old, and I didn't trust. She was telling me about her own intuition. Do you think she would let me live that down? No
Nope.
way. Years and years and
Nope.
years. She's like, no, we're not getting Chinese food unless we can get a lottery ticket.
There you go.
And it
And
was
that
just a big
will be
joke.
the same way.
And something else had just happened to me this week in my car. Um, I'm still on the fence. Do I buy a new car? Do I just keep fixing the one that I have? And now I'm going through my bank account, and I'm just stressing about the finances on this and that and this and that, and my phone bill's due, and I'm just stressing about everything. And when I stress about money, my mood goes way down, and then I start being very hard on myself. And you know what? I listen to the same radio station. Actually, I have three stations that I flip because I don't like listening to commercials. 101.9 out of Halifax, the country station. And I'm driving to work one morning, and I'm just so upset because money is not adding up properly, and I'm just so worried about, the next couple months coming up. And you know what my radio did? It changed automatically from 101.9 to 101.7. I see I see the number 17 everywhere I go. My number is 817.
Must be
I
18.
know for a fact I did not touch. I've had this car since 2013, and I've never ever accidentally switched the radio station. It's too awkward. It's too
Right.
awkward to accident.
Hmm.
Anyway, how did that switch from 101.9 to 101.7? How did it do that? It has never done that.
That's the energy in the universe out there. And
Yeah.
I will bet you, if you would have paid attention to what commercial was on at that time or what they were singing about, it would have been about a new car.
It probably would have been. It probably would have been. And I was just so dumbfounded. It's like, what the heck just happened? I'm singing along to the song. I don't even know what song it was, and I'm trying not to stress about because I'm going to this job and it's a very difficult job, and you know yourself because you do a very similar job.
Hmm.
And I'm stressing about that and will I make my rent and all this stuff. And it switched over
Hmm.
and there's my 17 again.
Yep. Mine's like 118, 811, or 818.
Yeah.
My eight's in
And
my one.
so I've been told by one person, I know one person that has told me just trust yourself, just
Hmm.
trust that the money is going to come in and everything is going to be just fine.
I wonder who told you that one.
Was it you?
It might have been. You got to
Well,
trust,
okay.
trust in it.
Yeah,
Trust
trust in it.
in
Yeah.
we've done shows on manifesting.
Yeah.
And we've done shows on numbers and numerology. Well, some numerology. We're going to do
Yeah,
a show
the
later
angel
about
numbers, yeah.
life, angel numbers and stuff. We're going to do another show about something about numerology, but also about like energy and the universe. And you're still not trusting that you're going to get enough money
Yeah.
because logic is overcoming your gut.
Logic
So
is
that's another thing. Your heart
yes.
and your head is going over your gut. Your gut is telling you you're going to have enough money to do that. But
Yeah.
logically, you're like, I don't know. I got to work this. I got to work this. I got to work this.
Yes.
So I'm just going to go back and I'm going to say to you, when we manifest, we can't manifest how?
No. No, it's gonna happen.
It's a trust.
You're supposed
So
to trust
when
that
you
it's coming in.
manifested, when you trust your gut's telling you, oh yeah, it will work. Because once you put it out there that I'm going to be getting a new car,
Hmm.
I'm going
Well,
to be getting a new
that's how
car.
I got this car was intuition. I'm like, hey, there's my car. There it is on this website.
Yep.
And the next day
It'll
I put a deposit on it.
it'll all fall into place. Like I've
Yeah.
noticed myself in the past going, I'm gonna get approved for this loan. I'm gonna get approved for this loan. And every time in the past I've been declined, then I get approved for it. And I'm like,
Hmm.
my intuition just told me that.
Yes.
Like it was
Yes.
telling me it's
I
gonna
have
be
to
okay.
I'm it's hard to because
It's
if your
not hard.
intuition is going this way,
You're putting
if
that
you're into
word out there. It's only
I
hard
know.
if you make it
I
hard.
know.
Take it back.
But when you as 17, no, it's not hard. It's not hard. Intuition is not
Easy.
hard. It's very
Easy.
easy. It's easy. Yes, so don't even use the
It's
H word.
user
But
friendly.
it is. Yeah, what was it? We said get in the boat and just don't paddle, just go downstream.
Hmm.
That's my favorite law of attraction tool.
Hmm. Yep. Just get in
And
and let
pivot
it
and
go.
pivot.
Yep.
Pivoting is one of my favorites. But you've got your intuition is going this way, and your logic is saying, "Oh no, 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 we're going this way." So
Hmm.
logic, those are your spreadsheets. They're gonna get in your way. They get in my way a lot.
Hmm.
Um, but they're not anymore. No,
No.
I have no spreadsheets in my head.
I'm going to tell you
Anyway.
something too. When you put it out there, like for a new car, for example, I drove a 2019 Tucson because I didn't have great credit at that point in time. And I was paying
Mhm,
$282 every 2 weeks for this 2019 Tucson. And somebody called me up out of the blue, and they don't even know who this person was that called me because when I called them back, they had no recollection of it. But they
mhm.
said, call us back and you can come in and we'll see if we can pre-qualify you for a brand new car in 2023. And I'm like, oh, this is not going to happen. Called them back, set up the appointment. I'm like, you know what? Thing's on them because I ain't going to get approved. And I go in and I sit down, and there's this young fella sitting there, and he says, you're approved. And I'm a brand new car,
Uh-huh.
2023, 0 kilometers on it. And I'm like, are you kidding me right now? Everything, everything fell into place. I was the only car that he sold ever in his career. He only was doing that job for that period of time, for like a month or so. He wasn't
Nice.
allowed to sell any cars. And when I come in, the person that was supposed to take me wasn't available. So he stepped in and sold me a car, a brand new car, exactly the date that it came. Everything exactly happened, even though there was a year wait behind in wherever Japan or something for my car to be made. And people who were ordering them before me didn't get their cars. I got mine. So my intuition was saying to me, you really need a new car. The universe is like, you need a new car. You're
You
paying too
need
much
it.
money.
I do.
I was
Yes.
paying $100 less every 2 weeks, $182 every 2 weeks for my brand
Mm-hmm.
new 2023 venue. Just saying,
Mm-hmm.
right? Now I drive a Kona 2024 Kona because my unfortunate venue, Venny, as her name was. We have Connie Kona now, but we had Venna venue. She kind of got destroyed in an accident.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
got
Yeah.
T-boned. So yeah,
Well,
trust that.
trust
Trust
that. My
your.
intuition is telling me right now that it is bedtime.
It's bedtime. It's time to get
It is
ready for bed.
bedtime.
Yeah,
So
I
we
haven't
are
been
gonna,
back.
I know we were gonna keep this nice and short, but I think we're way over our 30 minutes.
That's okay.
Anyway, this is fun and very informative. There was a lot of things that um, yeah, so questions that were answered for me. So thank you for that.
So
Appreciate
what
that.
was what was their, so at the end of it now, I just want to ask everybody who put the question down on the paper, what, drop it into the chat there. What was your question? And what was your answer? Now, I want you to do this in two parts. One is, what was your, at the very beginning, did you answer the question at the very beginning, right off the bat? If you did your answer change by the end of it when you asked it again? So ask it a second time, and what is your first instinct on there? That's about it.
And if you want to come back in a couple weeks and give us an update on that
I got
outcome,
I got my answer, and mine's a
hmm
no.
yours
So I
is a
guess
no.
I'm not
Okay.
going to be doing that because that literally is what it's been saying to me the whole time, screaming no. So if I was to scream yes,
hmm
it's not meant to be.
Not
So
meant to be. Yeah. All right. We will pick this up next week. I don't think nope, I'm not busy next week. So we will pick this up next Friday night. And I wish you a happy week, rest of the weekend. Get
mhm,
lots of rest. I know you were busy this weekend, so
yeah,
get lots of rest. Try and sleep in. You probably won't.
I won't sleep in, but I
No.
could go to bed early. That might be a
Yes.
good one for me because
Maybe
I'm
that's a good
usually
idea.
a
Yeah.
midnight or 1 a.m. kind of girl, and then I'm
Yes.
up at
Oh, and we've got some
6:45.
northern lights to look at tonight too. So if as long as
Yeah,
the sky is
I have to
clear.
do that.
Yeah.
Girl, it's not
I'm
dark
not
yet.
at my place right now. Otherwise I'd be sitting on my balcony.
I don't
Okay.
see anything because it's not dark yet.
No, no, not yet. And I don't know if it's cloudy out there. Anyway.
Well, you have a great week. We'll
Anyway.
see you later.
All right. I'll talk to you later. Bye bye.
Bye bye.